All right, let's talk about the metaverse. Because not that long ago, that word was absolutely everywhere. It was going to be the next big thing, the future of the internet, this massive opportunity that would totally change how we do everything. And then, poof, nothing. So what on earth happened to that big digital future we were all promised?
I mean, you remember it, right? The headlines were constant, the tech demos looked like something out of a sci-fi movie. It really felt like we were on the verge of this Ready Player One reality. But then the hype just fizzled out. The whole conversation changed. So today, we're going to dig in and look at the original vision versus what actually ended up happening.
To really get what went wrong, we've got to jump in a time machine and head back to 2021, back to the absolute peak of the hype, to understand what this whole metaverse promise was really all about.
Now, this definition is super important. This wasn't just about making cooler video games. The core idea, the dream, was this persistent shared 3D world that was always on. Think about it less like a website you browse and more like a place you actually go, an entirely new layer built right on top of the internet we already use.
Now, tons of companies were trying to build this thing, but we're going to focus on one that really captured that early spirit: crypto voxels. It was a virtual world built on the one piece of tech that everyone thought was the secret sauce for a true metaverse, the blockchain. Okay, so check this out. This map of a place called Origin City in crypto voxels, it nails the whole concept. The big deal here, and this is the big deal, is that every single one of those little squares, those plots of land, they weren't just data on some company's computer. Each one was an NFT. And that just means that you truly owned it. Your ownership was on a public blockchain for the whole world to see, not in some private database. You could sell it, you could trade it, and nobody could just take it away from you. This was the dream of real digital property rights.
And the crazy part? It was actually pretty easy to get into. You didn't need to download any complex software. It just ran in your web browser. You could hop right in and start building in free zones. Or, and this is where it gets interesting, you could go to a marketplace like OpenSea and buy your own little slice of this new digital world. And that idea, the idea that you could literally buy a piece of the internet, man, that's what lit the fuse. All of a sudden, the metaverse wasn't just some social experiment. Nope. It was being treated like a brand new asset class, a whole new kind of real estate.
I mean, this quote from a 2021 report just says it all. The demand for virtual land absolutely exploded. And people weren't just buying it to build a cool art gallery. They were buying it as an investment, betting that a digital plot near a popular spot would be worth a fortune someday, just like real-world property.
So just how big was this boom? Well, get this. By June of 2021, in crypto voxels alone, the total amount of land traded was over 16,000 ETH. At that time, that was worth nearly 35 million US dollars. We are definitely not talking about pocket change here.
Let's bring that down to a personal level. The average price for just one of those little squares on the map? Almost $4,500 for a single piece of virtual dirt.
And what about the prime real estate? Oh, it got wild. There was this one popular parcel called Glass Age, right near the center of the city. It had offers on it for nearly $15,000 for one plot. This was a full-on digital gold rush.
So that was the vision, right? A decentralized internet that we all owned, all funded by a red-hot virtual real estate market. But a speculative rush like that just can't last forever. So let's hit the fast-forward button. Let's jump ahead 5 years and see what actually shook out.
And yeah, the world changed. The crypto markets cooled way down, the tech headlines found their next shiny object, and the whole cultural conversation just moved on. The metaverse, at least the version we all talked about in 2021, pretty much just faded away.
But here's the thing. Virtual worlds didn't disappear. Not even close. In fact, one of them was quietly becoming more dominant than ever. It was just following a completely different playbook. I am talking, of course, about Roblox.
So forget about land sales for a second. Let's talk revenue. In 2025 alone, Roblox generated nearly $5 billion. The scale here is just staggering. It's a completely different model for success.
And honestly, here's the most important number of all. Roblox's success wasn't built on how much its assets were worth. It was built on people. By the end of 2025, it had 144 million daily active users. These aren't investors, they're players, they're creators, they're communities logging in every single day.
And this chart just blows up a huge myth about it.
You know, a lot of people just dismiss Roblox as a kid's game. Well, by 2026, over a quarter of its age-verified users were adults over 18. It had actually achieved what those blockchain metaverses couldn't: true, mainstream, multi-generational appeal.
So, what we have here are two totally different stories. There's the blockchain-based vision of cryptovoxels, and then there's the mainstream reality of Roblox. So what was the fundamental difference? What can we learn by putting them side by side?
This slide just breaks it all down perfectly. The 2021 vision, the cryptovoxels model, was all about one thing: digital ownership. The economy was decentralized, built on NFTs. But, and this is a huge but, to even get in, you needed a Web3 crypto wallet, which for most people is a massive barrier. Then you have the reality: Roblox. Their main goal, user engagement. Keep people playing. Their economy is completely centralized and controlled by them. And accessibility is king. Anyone can make a free account and just start playing. One was built for investors. The other was built for players.
So, the really crucial point is this. That early metaverse dream, the one that got everyone so excited, was built on the idea of ownership and investment. But the platform that actually won over hundreds of millions of users did it by focusing on play and just making it easy to get started. And that leaves us with this huge, fascinating question as we look to the future. What does this tell us about what we really want from our digital lives? Is the ultimate goal to build a world we can own, piece by piece, or is it simply to find a world where we all want to play?